Now then, Tigers, how are we doing? I hope we're all doing well. It comes down to the final day of the championship. The drama is preparing for Saturday, 12:30, where all the games kick off. And it's all eyes on the promotion and playoff battles. For Hull City, they're looking to try and steal that 6th place spot on the last day when they take on Norwich City at the MKM Stadium. We've been in the playoffs for quite some time, and it has been a shame that we've kind of bottled that position going into the final day, but we could get it back depending on how other results go. Now, Tuesday night's game between Southampton and Ipswich Town had a big impact on the top 6 in general. Yes, it does affect both the promotion race and the playoff race. Now, if Ipswich did win, it would mean that only Millwall would stand a chance, but then again, the goal difference would be just too far of a gap, so therefore Ipswich would basically be promoted to the Prem. Therefore, Southampton, Middlesbrough and Millwall would just simply not stand a chance of battling for the top 2. If Southampton had won, it would mean that Ipswich would be on the same points as Millwall, still in second place because of a bigger goal difference, but Borough and Southampton would be 1 point away, meaning that it was all to play for on the final day on the top 2. But what happened in that match is the Saints drew 2-2 with the Tractor Boys, meaning that Ipswich Town are on 81 points. Below them by 1 is Millwall, and below them by 1 is Middlesbrough on 79, which basically just leaves Southampton nothing to fight for because they're safely secured in a playoff spot. Now you're probably wondering, well, how the hell does that affect the playoffs in any shape or form? Well, we play Norwich City at the MKM Stadium, Derby County play Sheffield United at Pride Park, and Wrexham are at home to Middlesbrough. That's right, we've got a team who are looking to try and keep a playoff spot against a team who are looking to try and get into the top 2, as Borough have that opportunity to get automatic promotion. If results go their way, obviously. Because even though Borough do need to rely on Queen's Park Rangers getting a result against the Tractor Boys, probably they'd have to get a win over Ipswich, let's be real. It's the fact that Borough do need that win in case results do go their way. And that's the thing that's going to pressure Wrexham even more, is that they're going to have a much trickier task than Hull and Derby of really securing that playoff spot. And it's really what's getting Derby and Hull fans even more hyped up. And it's making me even more nervous as we do get closer towards Saturday. Now, for the table looking at the playoff race, Wrexham are in 6th, Hull City in 7th, Derby County in 8th. Both Wrexham and Hull are on the same points with a total of 70, whilst Derby are just 1 point away with 69. If only they had not scored late on against QPR. That would have been a bit ideal. Now, Derby actually have a bigger goal difference compared to Hull and Wrexham. The way it really works for Derby, if they want that playoff spot, they simply have to rely on the Wrexham and Hull game. So, if Hull and Wrexham lose and Derby draw, Derby get the playoffs. If Derby draw and Hull and Wrexham draw, then Derby are out, of course. If Hull and Wrexham draw and Derby win, Derby get that playoff spot. So really, it's all about the Rams trying to get a win, but they could look out with a draw if other results end with a miracle for Derby. Now, for Hull City, with them being on the same points as Wrexham, it's great. However, the Red Dragons do have 1 more goal difference than us, which means if both teams do win, Hull would have to win by 1 more goal than Wrexham, at least. Let's say Wrexham win 1-0 against Borough. Hull would have to win 2-0 or have a 2-goal cushion when they do victor in that game. So that way, it comes to them both having the same goal difference, and it comes down to the team that have scored the most goals, which, if you count it by then, Hull City will have more. But hey, it may be a goal fest at Wrexham and they somehow win, 4-3. Hull only win 2-0. Therefore, I'm pretty sure Wrexham would be in the playoff spot. But I can't really remember how many goals Wrexham have scored. I actually can't remember how many goals Hull have scored. It's like just under 70 from what I can remember. Now, of course, you want to know, what is the ideal situation for Hull City? Well, put it this way. If Wrexham do end up losing by a certain amount, and Hull only lose by 1 goal, and Derby lose as well, it's brilliant for Hull. It's brilliant for Hull because that means they get a playoff spot. That's not really the way we want it to go, though. Ideally, we do want Wrexham to draw against Borough. Just the ideal world would be Wrexham drop points against Borough on the final day. And I guess the same would go for Derby County when they play Sheffield United, because the Blades are a team that can either turn up or not. It's as simple as that. And I just think that Derby will beat Sheffield United regardless of how the game goes. Realistically, for Hull City, it has to be a win. We cannot rely on draws. We're not going to rely on a flipping loss. I mean, the form recently has not been great, and it's the reason why we've dropped out of the playoffs, because one win would have honestly made it the fact that we could have actually had that playoff spot basically secured. There'd be that risk that if we do lose and Wrexham do win, they'd have the better goal difference and therefore they'd steal it. But with them playing against Borough having Borough fighting for that spot in the top 2 in the final day, it would make it far more interesting and far more difficult for Wrexham. That victory has to happen on Saturday. I'm sick and tired of this team, whether they can just keep a lead or not. They just can't get something out of the vital, pivotal, crucial matches where it does matter the most. Now, I have done a short form video on the TikTok and on the shorts as well, where it basically goes through all of Hull City's most recent heartbreaks, because it's quite a common thing. We have had some crazy stuff on the final day, but it's not really been that special in terms of it's not been that dramatic, essentially. Maybe it could happen this weekend. Now, 2 seasons ago, when we did have Liam Rossini in charge and we had that crazy squad, we failed to get the playoffs. It did basically come down to the final day, but we had to rely on West Brom dropping points. They didn't drop points. I'm pretty sure they did win. Hull ended up losing 1-0 away to Plymouth Argyle, which meant that Plymouth would stay up. So it was a bit of an annoying game for us because, well, there were 2 teams battling it out, one for survival, one for the playoffs, and yeah, it was us that didn't prevail. Fast forward to this season, it's kind of all the pressure now is on Wrexham with the fact that they've got a team who are desperately fighting for something while they also do themselves. This is the thing, right? What's crazy is the coincidence of Wrexham losing 3-1 to Coventry last Sunday. We almost did lose 3-1 against Charlton Athletic, but Kyle Joseph saved us with a goal line clearance in the final moments of that match. That could be crucial. Hence why it's important that it's just a 1 goal difference gap between ourselves and Wrexham. I'm not going to get into the full preview and predictions of our match against Norwich City. That's going to be for another video. But it's essentially just looking at what is left in the Championship this season and how it could impact Hull City. And yeah, as I said before, with Tuesday night's game with Southampton making Ipswich drop points, it gives that chance for Middlesbrough to get something, to then therefore have a fight against Wrexham, who can't really have an easy or simple task of securing a playoff spot when they're against a team who are literally fighting for that chance to get promoted to the Premier League. Because let me tell you something, I know a lot of Borough fans who do not want to rely on getting promoted through the playoffs. It's literally their worst case scenario. So that is why it's ideal for Southampton to get something against Ipswich, so therefore Ipswich have that risk of maybe dropping points on the final day and allowing either Millwall or Borough to get promoted. To then, for us, have that chance, if Wrexham do drop points, to get something over Norwich and potentially get that 6th place spot. Am I confident leading up to the final game of the season? Not really. When you're a team that's winless in 6 and have dropped points to, Oxford, Birmingham, Sheffield United, Leicester and Charlton. I mean, 3 of those teams are all near the bottom. 2 are already relegated. One of them has only just survived, basically. And then 2 who have nothing to fight for. It really is a bit of a disappointment how we've not picked up a win from any of those games. I've not got a lot of confidence, and I'm a bag of nerves. I am an absolute bag of nerves. The thing is with Norwich as well is that, yeah, they've got nothing to fight for, but obviously they want to end the season on the win. They've been a great team ever since Philippe Clement has first come into the team. He's done an absolutely fantastic job since taking charge. Literally has guided Norwich out of a relegation battle and has almost put them in the fight for playoffs. They're literally 5 points away from 6th place. They've not done a bad job. Just hoping the Canaries will do us a favour. And I don't know when the last time we've done a double over them, because, as you'll know, earlier this season we did beat them 2-0 at Carrow Road. It was the first time we won there in God knows how long. So yeah, folks, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you know the circumstances of what is at stake heading into the final day of the championship. I will be doing my preview and predictions in the next video, probably the day after this one gets uploaded, so be sure to check that out, as well as this one, of course. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and up the Tigers!